Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games, and yeah, late last night, Nintendo kind of dropped two negative bombshells on us, one of which I think was kind of expected. This other one, though, I personally was not thinking would happen, at least not in the very near future. But starting off here, as you can see from the Nintendo of America Twitter account, it got posted at like 1 a.m. last night on the other social medias, but for NOA it was at 6 a.m. They said, from March 25th, it will no longer be possible to earn MyNintendo Gold Points. Existing Gold Points can still be used after this date on Nintendo Switch eShop within 12 months of being earned, basically saying that if you earn some gold points on March 24th, 2025, they won't expire until that same day in 2026, basically. So we'll just start with this. This is definitely the more tragic news, I would say, for a lot of people. Looking at the replies here, I mean, a lot of people are actually pretty upset that they're getting rid of the gold point system. If you don't know what the gold points are, basically when you buy games either physically and you register them through your Nintendo Switch, or if you buy games digitally through the eShop, you earn points back. It's just their rewards program, and the gold points are basically just money on the eShop. Like, let's say you buy a $60 game, I believe you would get 60 gold points or so, which only equates to about 60 cents, but still, it added up over time, and it was nice when you would go to checkout, you would go through the sales tab, maybe you would find a game that was only a couple dollars, and you would just have the gold points waiting for you there because you already spent so much money. It was just a nice bit of a loyalty program, and they're removing it, right before the Switch 2 Direct, and I think that is definitely worth noting. I don't know if they'll necessarily announce some sort of new membership loyalty program at that time, but I do think it's a bit conspicuous that right before we move into the Switch 2 era, they're getting rid of one of the best reward systems that they've had. It is also worth noting that the platinum points aren't going anywhere. The platinum points that you earn by playing the mobile games, but also just doing other different tasks, checking in at Nintendo events, the Nintendo New York store, you use those on the physical rewards on MyNintendo. Those aren't going anywhere, so they're keeping MyNintendo around. They're keeping the platinum point system. It's just the gold points. So it definitely makes me wonder, like, well, are you going to replace this with something else? I think they will. I just wonder what that would be. I think a relatively obvious answer for what they might do, and this kind of goes in with the next thing here, which we'll talk about right now, and that is the fact that they are making it so that the Nintendo Switch game vouchers that cost $100, basically you get 2 games for $50 each, not too bad of a deal. I know a lot of people use these if you are a Switch Online member. These are not going to be usable on the Nintendo Switch 2, which I don't think is that surprising, but this news coming out in conjunction with the news that gold points are going away definitely has me questioning the future of Switch Online. I think they might bring gold points back, but as like a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack tier benefit. It'll be some sort of like you pay a membership and that's how you get the cash back. I know that's a little scummy, but I just don't see them getting rid of this in its entirety. I feel like this is going to come back in some way, shape, or form. MyNintendo isn't as beloved, I would say, as Club Nintendo was back in the day. However, you can't deny that popping a Switch cartridge in and redeeming those gold points and just having them on your account and then using them for, you know, cheaper indie games, that kind of thing, like, that is a very satisfying loop. I don't know why they would want to get rid of that, other than just make it more of an enticer for those higher subscription tiers, because right now the gold points are free. So that's kind of what I think they'll do. I think they'll maybe even raise the price of NSO on Switch 2. I don't want to will that into existence, but I don't think that's out of the, you know, realm of question. I definitely think it's worth talking about. I think they might raise the price of NSO. Maybe they just raise the price of the expansion pack. We'll see. Maybe the base tier stays the same. But because of that, they'll want to give you more incentives. And maybe one of those is these gold points. But yeah, let's talk more about the vouchers here. So this just popped up on the FAQ last night. Someone noticed it. And it says right there, yeah, Nintendo Switch game vouchers cannot be redeemed for games exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2 system. I saw some people trying to figure out, like, oh, the wording's weird. Does this mean there's going to be a lot of cross-gen games? I don't necessarily think it means anything. I don't know if we can read into that. But yeah, you won't be able to use the Switch game vouchers on Switch 2 games, which I personally am not surprised by, although I've seen a lot of people saying, like, oh no, this confirms or this means that the standard price for Switch 2 games is going to be $70. I don't even know if that's necessarily true. I do think we're going to see way more of it, right? Tears of the Kingdom is the only $70 Nintendo game so far. And yeah, I think Metroid Prime 4 and Mario Kart 9 and the next 3D Mario and these big heavy hitters, Splatoon even, Animal Crossing, like, I think those will probably be $70. It's just the way things are going, inflation. Like it's all messed up right now. So I think $70 for the bigger games will be standard, which is probably why the game vouchers won't work on that, because right now the vouchers are $99. You get 2 first-party games. If games were more or less $70, then that'd be an insane deal. Maybe they bring back the vouchers and they call them Nintendo Switch 2 game vouchers, and they're like $120, and you're still saving the $10 per. I could see that, but I don't necessarily think that across the board all Switch 2 games are going to be $70. I think you look at stuff like WarioWare. I even think you look at stuff like Switch Sports, maybe a Yoshi game, maybe some Kirby games. Pokemon will definitely be $70, knowing Pokemon Company. But, Advance Wars Reboot Camp, that was a $60 remake. I feel like if they try to charge $70 for Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, oh, that's gonna hurt. I just don't think they'll do that, at least not at the start of the generation. Maybe when we get closer to the back half, 2030, we're talking, we could see some at $70 remasters. But I just feel like surely they wouldn't, right? They wouldn't. Maybe I'm being too optimistic, but I feel like there's no way they charge $70 for like the remasters and stuff. For the new AAA games, the tentpole Game of the Year winning games, like, yeah, those are going to be $70. But for the smaller stuff, if they charge more for that would be a big disappointment. Now, it is worth noting that these Switch game vouchers are not going away for Switch 1 games. And based on the wording, you'll still be able to buy these Nintendo Switch game vouchers on the Nintendo Switch 2 and on your Switch 1 for the foreseeable future, but it'll only be usable on Switch 1 games. I mean, I think there's a good chance that we still get Switch 1 games for at least another 18, 24 months or something like that. So this is still going to be a very viable option. I wonder if at that point maybe they get rid of them, but it's just a nice little discount. People always say we should bring back Nintendo Selects, and I agree, that'd be very cool, but I don't think they ever will. I think Nintendo wants to maintain the value of a lot of these games, and the Switch Online game vouchers are a nice way to give an extra incentive to your loyal Switch Online subscribers. And you are getting a nice little discount. I mean, $100, if you bought 2 $60 games, that'd be $120. So you're saving $20 by doing this. Obviously, this only applies to digital use. Most people buy games digitally now. I personally don't, but it's a good deal. And I do hope that maybe at some point in the Switch 2's life cycle, we see them do something like this for Switch 2 games. I want to say the Switch game vouchers didn't come out until 2019, so about 2 years in to the Switch's life cycle, once it builds up a bit of a backlog, a library. I know I bought them for the first time for Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and I want to say Dragon Quest Builders, because they published that. That was the first time, and maybe the last time, I ever used the game vouchers. But maybe in 2027, we could see them bring back Switch 2 game vouchers. Maybe they're a little bit more expensive. Maybe they are $120 for a pair of 2, but you're still saving some money that way. I see a lot of people bummed out about this, and gut reaction, yeah, I get it. But I think it was maybe a little foolish to expect the Nintendo Switch game vouchers to work on Switch 2 games. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Definitely a weird double dosage of bad news, especially the gold points thing. I really wasn't expecting them to get rid of that. It's definitely something that I hope they have a replacement for in the very near future. I like racking up points, even if it's not like that much, right? Like, I think I would have to do the conversions. I think PlayStation Stars, which is the equivalent for PlayStation, I think that actually gives you technically more money back into your little PSN account. So maybe we get a stronger service. I mean, that's the positive outlook here. Maybe we end up getting a stronger gold point system out of this in the future, or something else entirely. But maybe that would be locked behind a subscription. I think that's not unlikely. Also, I just gotta say this. I tweeted it out late last night when they announced this. Man, wanting a Nintendo Direct right now to cover up this bad news be a good thing. The reality is most people don't even care about gold points or game vouchers. They're not even going to see this news. But man, I know we're talking about that Nintendo Direct. Could it be time? Could we finally see it in maybe tomorrow? I was honestly hoping for an announcement this morning for a Direct tomorrow. Maybe we get some sort of Shadow Drop Direct. I think no matter what, we need to get Nintendo news this week, even if it's just a Xenoblade trailer. Like, we gotta get something going here, Nintendo. I know next week we have Pokemon Presents, but I want to see some other Nintendo games. Please, Nintendo, give us something. Give us a glimmer of hope in these trying times. The Switch 2 Direct is slated for April 2nd, so we're getting there. It's already been over a month since the Switch 2 was revealed, and I imagine as we get to March and ramp up there, we'll start hearing more and more little tidbits like this. They're going to want to get whatever bad news they can out of the way first before the Switch 2 event, so that way it can all be positive. Of course, as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of the removal of the gold point system from the Nintendo Switch? And what do you think of the specification that game vouchers will not be usable on Switch 2 games? I would like to get a conversation down below. What are your hopes for the future of these two services? As always, subscribe here for more Nintendo news, discussion, theories, all that fun stuff. Follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames, and until next time, folks, peace.